All right, so
Cool.
when did we record that? A couple weeks ago? We talked about movie posters.
Drew Struzan and his career with movie posters.
Yeah, we also looked at a few Frank Frazetta ones.
Opened
just
up with some
because,
Frazetta
yeah, we
stuff.
totally fucked up the Frazetta episode as far as movie posters go.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Which I was
we did
thinking,
great.
Which I was thinking about. I was like, why did he have so much cartoony stuff? And I was like, oh yeah, they hired him off that caricature gig off Mad.
Ringo.
So
Ringo
that's why
Starr
they
one.
like hired him for
Yeah,
all
that's
those
when he
like
started getting all that
comedy
work.
movies and
Cool.
stuff. He didn't really have any of those sword and sorcerer type publishing credits.
Yeah, all
yet.
that came later after like the comic books and posters and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I heard the North Brew is going to open this week.
Yes. That's a big announcement we have for our sponsor at the North Brewery.
North Brewery. Have safe sex.
Yes. They promote safe sex at the North
They
Brewery.
do.
All sex should be safe.
At the bottom of every
If it's
growler.
consensual.
But what's the date this Friday? October 2nd? Is that the day?
It's Friday, the first Friday in October.
Yeah. The tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna air
When this
this.
airs.
Yeah, so
Cool.
They open at 4 p.m. and will hopefully remain that way.
yeah, we'll probably be there drinking because it's us.
We're normally there drinking, aren't we?
Shh. We're not supposed to tell anybody that.
Wait, what?
In spirit.
We're not supposed to tell people that we drink? All right, I'm sober.
But yeah. Everybody go down there and show them some support.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yes.
Whoa.
I went out of focus.
It's all right. We'll come
I'm
back
back
in.
now.
Move your head.
Hi, guys.
Perfect. All right, so enjoy this episode on movie posters.
Damaged by you, damaged by me. I'm confused, don't wanna be
Hey guys, we're
Hi,
back.
everyone.
Oh, hey.
Back for another episode of Art Damaged Podcast.
Is that where we are?
Yeah, sometimes. So what are we talking about today, Reggie?
Today, we are going to talk about some movie posters.
I'm
And
excited.
One of the guys who kind of worked throughout the golden age of the movie posters, basically through the 80s and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, before we talk about this person in general, let's go around and plug our socials and all that fun stuff. I'm Josh Ruff, joshruff.com on all the things, at joshruff.com on all the things, actually. We're here at Renaissance Studios at RS Tattoo NY on Instagram.
Hi, guys. Reggie Cuvelier here. Reggie Inks on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Artist. I like to draw and paint and make tattoos. It's a lot of fun.
Hi,
Boom.
I'm Christina Maslar. You can find me at Christina_Maslar on Instagram, Christina Maslar on Facebook. I'm at the shop most days. I'm at home when I'm not there. I live with this guy.
Don't lie. You're not at home. You're at Home Goods.
It's true, but it's my second home.
Yeah. I'm Bam Maslar. I'm married to her. You can Google me.
Sounds so enthusiastic.
BamBurnsThings.com.
Yep. BamBurnsThings.com. Google me.
All right, guys. So far, low effort. I like it.
Cheers. It's been a long
All right,
day.
so
Let's just
Cheers.
drink.
today I believe we're discussing movie posters, right?
While
Yeah.
drinking some,
Movie poster artwork
while also
specifically.
drinking the North Brewery.
Oh, yes. Let's plug our sponsor that I
Ooh,
completely
it is
forgot
becoming
about
the
again.
fall, and it is about to be stout season next door. Which, if y'all don't know, that's the time to get over there and start buying up some beers. We got a coffee stout today named
Fake.
FXD. It's Special Effects Delaware.
Or better
I
known
believe
as
it's known
Fade.
as
the
Fade.
Fade.
For some reason, they spelled it like that. It's very delicious.
Cool.
And maybe he was drunk and hit the X instead of the A and was like, it's still bars crossing. Yeah.
You could definitely taste the coffee in that one. I like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I haven't tried it yet. I'm excited to crack into it.
Well, go for it.
I'm drinking some right now, starting a little light, some Lost Summer.
Yes, because the summer is lost. It's over with. It was
was no
never really
summer.
here to
It's
begin with.
officially
no
the
summer.
first day of fall.
Hey, but this one was also illustrated by this guy right here.
I did do that. I did that.
You did it!
I do that. I did that.
Yay!
Oh. Cool. So,
Yeah, anyways.
Frank Frazetta, we forgot to analyze his movie.
Yeah, when
career
we
a
did the
little while
Frazetta
ago.
episode, we totally
What
fucked
are you
up.
talking about?
I had to
looked
cut out
at
the movie
posters.
posters.
Yeah, we totally did. What do you
We
mean?
just kind of went off the cuff and ended up talking about people that wasn't him.
Yeah.
He did not do Barbarella.
He did not.
Yeah, that was Boris Vallejo, actually.
Should we just sit here and list all the things he didn't do?
We might be here a while.
This entire episode is just a list read to you.
So, yeah, we were going to look at a few of his covers to kind of interject him into this whole thing.
Yeah, let's go backtrack a little bit.
Let's look at this one here.
Cool. It's relative. It doesn't stand out a lot like Frank. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I can see his comic work in this.
Yeah, a little bit like the caricatures in the face.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that him in the background fighting the spiders? Looks a lot like it.
Dude, the tagline to that just sounds like a porno.
How three beautiful girls love for fun and murder for profit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at the list of actors. Are you positive it's not?
Shirley, Stella,
Surely.
Honor.
Honor, James,
Black-
and Lionel.
Honor Black Man.
Might be porn.
Yeah.
We're gonna let that one go.
These
We're
all-
just gonna let that name slide.
There's all like...
Is this
yeah.
a giant monster movie? Because there's a lot of big spiders on here.
I'm pretty sure this is just a porno. Like
I mean-
Skinamax porn.
Well, also the dude on the right hand side there, looking like he's straight out of Scooby Doo.
Meddling kids.
Yeah.
Trying to get away
Yeah,
from
he's got
those.
his Green Goblin mask on.
He's just like,
Trying to put spiders in martinis and shit.
I do not like spiders in my martini. I'll just have to let you know.
maybe he's just really angry because he can't drink the martini through the mask, and they didn't bring him a straw.
cool.
Also, there's that random dude in back. Just showing his butt. Just
No, that's
accenting the butt.
see what he's actually got is one of those old miner boxes, like he's gonna blow up the building, or like a
Okay.
hobo would.
Like hobos have.
He's trying to kill all the people that are
Building
fucking in this
explosives?
porno.
I mean, they jump trains, and that was something that they used for
It's
trains.
very not Christian.
But yeah, this looks like classic Frazetta comic art, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of combined with his paintings.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
And the things that we're making fun of are not his artwork; it's the concept of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was this, like early 70s?
I think earlier than that. I think he was
Like
doing this stuff
60s?
in the 60s. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because this is
Yes.
right after we got done with comics, right? You started getting into movie
Yeah,
posters
yeah.
and
He had
stuff.
that Mad Magazine,
The Ringo
that
Starr
Ringo
thing.
commission, and then a few movie posters, and then he graduated pretty fast into... Yeah, all these were like time-stamped like 67, 68. So right there, probably around like 68, 69, he was getting those, starting to Conan money.
You guys ever try and watch movies from that era?
Yes.
This one I might, if there's spiders in
They're
three
hard
ways.
to sit through.
Spiders, three ways, and a homeless person trying to blow up a city.
It's like they took a lot of that Benny Hill chase scene and they're like, okay, let's make a movie out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We already have our Act 3 climax.
So the woman in front with her legs like up in the air, does she have one like animatronic leg and the other one's in a high heel?
I
No,
think
she's
one's
got a
boot.
bullet band around her thigh there.
Yeah, and she has a
Oh, okay.
grenade, which
Yeah.
is awesome. There's a lot.
Okay.
There's
She's a
neat
bad
little
bitch.
hidden
Just
details in
one
there.
just looks very. No, the actual like low
Foot.
the calf.
She
so
has one high heel and it looks like one boot.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
like one leg
Well,
is just animatronic or something.
She can't quite put that ankle knife in there.
Yeah, it's a little
With just a high
revealing if
heel.
you're only wearing high heels. Yeah,
It's practical.
Yeah, I was just curious because she was half animatronic.
No, that would be way later.
cool. To Frank,
Oh, there's more Frank coming up.
yeah,
Frank.
Frank won, and
and then another one that's a whole mass of caricatures running.
What-
around.
Hey, look, Woody Allen.
Oh,
What's-
boy.
what's new,
Peter O'Toole's
Pussycat?
in this too.
Peter Sellers, Peter O'Toole,
what's new,
Timmy
Pussycat?
O'Toole would have been there, but he fell in a well. See the wackiest comedy of the year.
Romy Schneider. I thought this had Rob Schneider for a second.
my
I'm like,
God.
wait, how old is Rob Schneider?
Dude, how cool is the name Ursula?
It is.
That's a
pretty
good
cool.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
name.
You know, she's a bad bitch if her name's Ursula.
Yeah.
Don't fuck
What do you
with
even
her.
call her for short? Just straight up Ursula? the
Some
whole
kind
time?
of black magician.
Yeah.
Witch.
She's born 30 and chain smokes cloves.
Yeah.
and we'll steal the voices of young women.
Yes.
And she just talks like this the whole time.
Oh, Woody Allen.
Hi.
Oh, God.
My name's Ursula.
Wackiest. Yeah, you got to wonder what they would consider a wacky comedy in like 68, you know?
Women running around.
Wasn't it
in
mostly
bikinis.
Woody Allen movies though?
Well, I mean, he did marry his own daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna. That was what was on my mind. Was this before or after the daughter fucking?
Probably
Oh,
like
this
way
is probably way before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
This
think
is
they
probably when she was
started-
still a
fallen out
daughter.
of favor since then.
This is probably when she was still considered a daughter, not a wife.
Probably before that. I mean, his daughter.
We, on a side note, at the North Brewery, they used to have trivia, and one night we chose the name. Our trivia name was Woody Allen's daughter wife.
Nice.
True.
Nice. So if you're ever at Applebee's on a Wednesday night and Woody Allen's daughter wife is ranking in the points, you're welcome.
Don't steal my name. It's mine.
Well, artwork wise, this is more classic Frank comic illustrations, kind of.
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, it matches the comedy. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the last two seemed a little bit more of like caricatures as opposed to more of a refined illustration.
Yeah.
Because it matches.
Well, he's really good at pushing that caricature, like over exaggerated
Yeah,
expression
yeah.
and things.
What I'm really confused about is the first person in line is not on the bill of characters because that's clearly Barbara Streisand.
Oh god, yeah, it does look like her. What's new, Pussycat? All right, let's see what's next.
And one more that looks like a very traditional Frank.
Yeah, this is Frank
Awesome.
Frazetta right here.
Yeah. You see, like the stuff he was figuring out with watercolors that he later refines in oils, you kind of see a
As
little
savage as
Color.
the beast that raised her. Nice.
That color palette.
bit. Yep.
Man, they're
Super
really
new-
trying to sell this movie with all the text beneath this awesome picture.
I know.
There's a lot of it.
Spine chilling.
Duel against
Forbidden
deadly
jungle.
scorpions. River of maddened crocodiles.
Forbidden
way-
jungle treachery.
He was
Under.
way ahead of his time.
Are they like
'cause
laying
it's-
out all the scenes of the movie? Yeah.
looks
Yeah,
like
there's
it.
only 7. There's only 7 scenes. So.
Action sequences,
They
because
have
that's
to-
where the money is.
Right, but they have to name each of the scenes. They want to tell you.
He's way ahead of his time because it's not even the 90s, and check out that palm tree in the background.
Oh, crushing it.
Oh,
He knew.
silhouetted palm tree. Maybe that's why they
That's a
did it.
callback to
Frank.
our video game art episode,
Yeah. I want to see this movie.
which you guys should watch.
We need to find this.
Maybe that'll be just an episode.
I'm
of us
willing to
watching
bet
this
that the
movie.
poster is way better than the movie.
Once we get to Drew's stuff, that's something someone said. They're like, we're still waiting to see this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, I want to see this movie. This movie doesn't exist.
Should we do an episode where we all watch a movie and we don't actually air the movie and we wear headphones so they can't hear the movie and it's just our reaction?
Of how
So
bad
Mystery
it is.
Science
Oh,
Theater without
yeah.
the movie.
Yeah, but with no movie.
It's just us reacting.
Yeah. A reaction film to nothing that they can see.
Well, people on YouTube do that all the time now.
We might have to. We might have just found a gold mine.
So, fun fact: Frank actually dipped into the poster industry right about as artists started actually being credited for it. I
Yeah.
was reading up on it a little bit, and it turns out throughout most of that history, all the illustrators that worked on those posters weren't really given any credit or named or were able to sign their work.
They probably got
This-
fucked just like every other book illustrator did
Yeah,
back
I
then.
feel like that happened with a lot of horror, like monster
Yeah,
design
dude,
too.
those all the like Universal monsters, man.
Yeah.
Those
We just found out recently the creature from Black Lagoon was a chick. She did that. She didn't get credit for any of
What?
that.
Really?
Wow.
She did
Because
all
she
the
was just
makeup.
a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some time right around like 1965
All the design
where they
and
were
all the
finally
makeup.
like, all right, I guess we'll give you guys credit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, all
That's
the design
fucked
and
up.
makeup for Creature of the
So
Black
who
Lagoon.
did get credit then? Just that actors and actresses that were in the movie and the director?
I think also
Yeah,
the
they
movie
would never-
studio.
There was a lot of.
Does Frank have a signature hidden in that one?
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
It's probably
He might
behind
have a
that.
credit there in like the subtext.
for the
but
actual-
most
Yeah.
part.
The actual movies themselves during the credits, I believe, up until like the 90s, it was more of just the art studio
Yeah.
that would get the credit. So it would be like Rick Baker owned a studio for a really long time. So I think it was just like credited to that studio, not the specific artists. It wasn't until like the 90s, early 2000s that they actually started like really shouting out the individuals from them.
Well, they let him. So, as you'll see, they let Drew like sign some of his work. You know, there were certain points. They usually in a movie's credits, they probably wouldn't like because they would change hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They might have one poster that they do on launch, and they might have another one when it hits the video retail, and they would have another one. But so to credit that in the movie would kind of date it and stuff.
All right, so that brings us to who we're really talking about
Yeah.
today. That'd be Drew Struzan.
Drew Struzan.
Not Drew Brees.
Drew Struzan he's about in his 70s now. He's like 72, so he was born in the late 40s. Had a pretty shitty childhood.
Oh,
Drank that.
Cool.
Yep.
Drink those beers.
Let's see. Let me
That's
pull-
also him striking a pose.
Yeah.
Self-portrait.
He left or was like abandoned by his parents in his late teens.
Jesus.
And he worked himself through the Art Center and College of Design in LA, which was apparently a super, super intensive painting program, like painting a good 5-6 days a week and shit. And he was so broke that he would basically sell his homework as soon as he finished it so he could have more money to reinvest in art supplies and basically his tuition.
I mean, that's
so
pretty.
his parents left him on a basket on the front steps of that art institute with nothing but a pencil and a
Good
receipt.
luck.
Just a
fun.
22-year-old naked man in a basket.
Well, just from that, it sounds like he's a guy with a dream and made it happen.
I mean,
It's pretty awesome.
I gotta say, the dude who's out there hustling and selling his homework.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty.
Trying to actually selling it to other students.
That's
and
what I
shit.
mean. That's
Like, hey,
amazing.
bro, you want to buy my painting homework? I need some more brushes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Most of mine
So
just
we did
ended
that
up
for
in a
like
weird
fucking
basement.
6 years, dude. He's pretty educated. He had a pretty good education under his belt. Yeah. He since he had kind of a shitty childhood, he ended up doing the fucking homebody thing. Ended up kind of marrying pretty young. Started a family pretty young. But yeah, which kind of led him almost immediately into like illustration because since he was such a young guy with a young family, he didn't have like the years to put in to try to get a name out there and work like the gallery scene. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Because you got to invest a lot of time and a lot of networking and whatnot.
So he just dove right into commercial illustration.
Yeah.
Was that at the point where he was just like, you can pay me for 4 days and I'll work 5 days? And they're like,
Yeah.
no.
Click forward one. Yeah, the first work that he found was actually working for a studio house that specialized in album art and illustration.
Oh, that's awesome.
So go forward one. You got fucking sweet. Sabbath,
Oh,
Bloody
Sabbath,
Sabbath,
Bloody
by
Sabbath.
Black
Fucking
Sabbath.
awesome.
Yeah, dude.
And that's him in bed, right?
Yeah. He drew himself as both of them. He would always say that one of his downfalls was kind of making the idea bigger than it needed to be. They're like, all right, sweet. We need a guy on his deathbed for this new heavy metal band. He's like, okay, cool. Well, what if we do 2 deathbeds? One if he was a shit person and one if he was a good person. So one of those is, dying in a bad way, and another one is dying in a very calm and peaceful way.
I'm pretty
Both
sure
of-
the peaceful one's also his wife.
Yeah, they went with the top one, though.
Well, I think that
One's the front and one's the back.
yeah, one is actually, but the one
Oh,
that
yeah,
you-
that's right.
the one you see on all the fucking t-shirts and shit for Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath are always the top of the
Well, yeah,
for
the
sure.
top one looks like it belongs. The bottom one looks like it should be like album art for like In Excess or something.
Oh, man, what a great
More
album.
Queen. Queen vibes.
That's
But
cool. I didn't know
fine.
that he did that album
Yeah,
cover.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen it like a million times and didn't know that.
Yeah, that was he had got a shitload of work during this time because
Yeah.
of the she was just cracking jokes. He offered these guys. He's like, "Hey, I'm really hurting on money." He's a really quiet, mild mannered kind of guy. He's like, "If I just come in for like 5 days a week, you can just pay me for 4. I just need to do something for money." And they look through his book and they're like, "Dude, if you can deliver like this, we will pay you for whatever fucking days you sit down and work for us and shit." So
Nice.
yeah, he got a bunch of work during this time. Most notably, obviously, what sticks out to me the most is
Yeah, for sure.
that's fucking heavy metal history right there. And go
Yeah,
forward
it
one
is.
more. And the one that got him noticed in the movie market was this guy,
Good old Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper. Yeah, he would say all the guys that were in that studio were like, "Hey, we got we got backstage passes and fucking concert tickets tonight. You want to go party? He's like, no, I'm going to go home to my wife and kid. Go hang out and shit. So he was
I'm not gonna go hang out with Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
In Milwaukee.
Have you guys ever seen Alice Cooper?
Yeah.
He is
Yes.
way down to earth. He's just
Yeah.
like a normal old guy.
Dude, wasn't
Yeah.
there the guy, that fucking dude that does Nick Stock around here, just basically covering his shit, trying to be him all the time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Alice Cooper came to town in Binghamton, he went to the Oakdale Mall during the day and was just wandering around, which the Oakdale Mall, for those who don't know, has like 14 stores in it and is about 100 feet long.
Now.
Yeah. This was
Back
like
then, too. It wasn't
yeah,
bad.
this was like 10 years ago. This isn't. And
Vita
he
was
okay.
working, and she got a picture of him and just like
he's wearing he's
fisherman
walking
hat
around with a
and cargo pants.
cargo pants,
Trying to
a
blend
polo
in.
shirt.
That's what his normal garb is. Like
yeah,
that's
like
what
that,
he wears.
that's just what he was wearing in public. Like that's just chilling.
I guess he used to like. I don't know if he has a house or something here, but
Probably around
he's-
Ithaca. There's a
yeah,
lot
he's
of
in
people with
Binghamton. Not like he used to be crazy often.
kind of like Post Malone.
Not like Post Malone.
Walt.
More often.
Every time I think of Alice Cooper, I just think of Wayne's World, too.
Yeah.
Like right in the beginning.
Feed
Actually, it's pronounced Milwaukee.
This guy know how to party or what?
But have you ever seen him in concert?
No.
Oh, dude, it's a trip.
I'm sure
It's-
it is.
It's a show for sure.
Yeah, it's so over the top.
So this was kind of like his break into movies because they heavily advertised for this one. Took out a billboard, you know what I mean?
Right.
And some like some agent that was working for marketing firms that specialize in Hollywood stuff. Basically, fucking started calling around and found him, figured out who he was,
Nice.
and told him that he could basically make. He's kind of apprehensive because he's a nice guy, and he's like, I don't know, these guys give me a lot of work here. He's like, cool, doing one movie poster, you could probably get a month payout for what you're doing over there. He's like, oh, okay.
And like
So
back
then he got started
before
getting,
this, wasn't like he and his wife were like, we only eat one meal a day.
yeah,
They're just broke
We're
as
just
fuck.
stretching
Yeah.
it out.
No, we already talked about that. It's called intermittent fasting. It's healthy for you.
He was ahead of the curve.
Well, he was saying he got to crunching numbers. He got to take home like $3,000 for like extra from like a student loan or something, and then delivering his first kid cost $1,500. So they had $1,500 to live off of for like a year.
Jesus.
Yeah.
A year.
A year.
Back in the 70s, that
Yeah, yeah.
probably would go a little further, but
Yeah,
But
that ain't shit.
That's not a year. That's like
he made it work.
a week.
that's Dr. Zhivago money. Cold and soup all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, Drew started getting from here. Drew started getting some movie work, and that brings us from the mid '70s. Yeah, from like the Alice Cooper and stuff.
Fucking Star Wars, man.
Star Wars. All right, the story with this one is he was not directly hired by George Lucas for this piece. His buddy that he made in art school was actually an airbrush artist, and he got the contract to do this. But he was like, yo, I kind of suck at faces. I'll split this commission with you if you come in and paint the faces. And he's like, cool, but I want to be there while you actually work on it because I want you to teach me how to use airbrush. So he used this opportunity to have his buddy start teaching him how to do all the airbrush shit, all the characters. So like his buddy airbrushed like the creatures in the background and the robots and all
I was
the other
about to
stuff
ask
going on.
what part of that is airbrush.
The background.
The
Yeah,
logo
for
at
sure.
the top, the background stuff.
Probably the lightsabers.
Yeah, the stormtroopers,
Yeah.
the vehicles,
All the very smooth stuff
Yeah.
on there.
all the galaxy looking stuff. All the actual faces were done in oils, so they had to figure out the best way to work a water based media around that and whatnot. But yeah, this is one of his cool ones. They accidentally made it.
So he accidentally ended up working on one of the biggest sci-fi movie arguably ever.
Yeah, and before he was, before he had really a name for himself, and George Lucas was looking for him specifically.
That's
'Cause
cool.
there's a part.
Find it funny to be like, yo, my buddy George has been playing with these action figures in his basement.
Yeah.
Back
It'd be
then,
really,
they-
I
it'd
think
be really
it's called like Space Wars or something.
yeah, it'd be really cool if you came over and did some drawings for us.
Drawings. You from fucking Jersey?
Drawings.
On a side note, I recently saw a picture of what Luke Skywalker. They're testing different outfits on him, and the first one looked like it was straight out of like Xanadu, like he was going to be in a musical.
That was it was
was
like
terrible.
it was like a black leotard with like gold
sparkles
accents
and bell
it was
bottoms.
awesome.
That sounds amazing. Can you imagine how that would have influenced the future, though?
God, man.
No, come like 2011 when every basic girl started dressing like that. How
No, they dress like Han Solo.
Han Solo.
not
Well,
Luke
yeah, I don't think
Skywalker.
like fucking Star Wars would have been as big as it is if they had them prancing around in leotards the
They
whole fucking
seriously
time.
screwed up on any of the character design stuff.
Yeah. There's probably a parallel universe out there where all that happened and the world is fucking weird right now.
Darth Vader's just in a latex
Wilford
suit.
Brimley is still alive.
Yeah.
Darth Vader in just a latex suit.
Yeah, he's like a gimp.
James Earl Jones is like, I don't know how I feel about this. They're like, you're gonna have to wear it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's actually played by James Earl Jones.
In a gimp suit. Oh my god.
Oh,
Did we
somebody
just
make this
write
movie.
Star Wars history
We just wrote
We're
the
gonna
Star
get a
Wars
cease and
porno. That's what we just wrote.
from George
that
Lucas?
nobody wants to see?
This is cool though. Like Vader's obviously looking a little shitty right there, but
He must have painted like the head on him, and his
yeah, it
buddy
looks
did
like the rest of it
body.
doesn't match.
Yeah,
up
the
that
hands look a little wonky.
But you can see kind of those really squared brush strokes that he kind of had in that.
Oh, yeah.
that Alice Cooper face. It's
Yeah.
pretty
great.
interesting.
Yeah, like in Leia's robe there.
yeah, yeah,
By,
yeah. Like the
Luke's
shadow
hand.
color in the
Yeah.
robe. Yeah.
All right, so what else do we got here?
Ooh, this is a good.
This is in a
one.
different language, but everybody knows what movie this is.
Yeah, the Temple of Doom.
Oh, that's what it
Dr.
is?
Jones.
Oh, God.
Yeah, this was one of the ones where he wasn't directly hired to make the first poster. It actually went. They called him up like a week after it was in theaters and like, hey, we didn't have a great opening weekend. How do you feel about making something for us? You know, so kind of
Like
like
today.
Yeah, like we kind of wanted to get it to the printers like yesterday.
Dude, this is my favorite Indiana Jones movie by far, though.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
love this
Yeah,
one so
yeah.
much. It's so great.
It's been years since I've seen these. I need to sit down and watch
I
them
think
all
I
again.
yeah, I made my
They're
wife
amazing.
watch them with me like a
Until
few
you get
years
to
ago because
the Crystal Skull, and then
Well,
George
yeah, that
Lucas
one
gets a
sucks.
scrappy
That's
little
like
hands
fucking
on there.
20 years later. Just
Yeah,
pretend like
no,
that never happened.
That never happened. We don't consider that part of the.
Yeah, George Lucas had his hand in it, so he destroyed it.
For me, I would rate Temple of Doom is definitely my favorite Indiana Jones film, followed by The Last Crusade, and then Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I don't even know the names of them. I just remember watching them all as a kid. Probably not in order either.
Just remember Nazis.
Yeah,
Last
they're
Crusade,
always
his
the bad
dad,
guy.
right? His dad
Yeah,
came back.
Sean Connery's in that one.
Sean Connery.
And Hitler accidentally signing the book. I remember Hitler accidentally signing the book.
Oh, yeah. That part's great. Hey, a movie that Bam has seen.
Oh,
Yeah, movie
Yeah.
reference you get.
Cheers.
Clang. So by this time, he, after what we just discussed, learning airbrush, that became one of his main tools. He would paint in base layers of acrylic paint, build up tones with the airbrush, tones and effects and stuff, and then go back in actually with colored pencil and add in like an extra layer of texture and strokes and stuff.
Yeah, so if you look
see,
at
like,
the highlights on the cheeks and stuff.
yeah, or like
yeah, I
look
wish
at
we
the
could zoom in here so we could see all that, but yeah.
the strokes
you can kinda
across
see it
his
from-
hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see like there's some red pencil that kind of goes through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat. Etching on the face. Yeah, that one they didn't like edit his design at all. So that one says is like.
I mean, this is a fucking tight poster.
Why
dude.
would you edit it?
well, since they needed it, like now. He just sent him a concept and they're like, do it, get it out. So nobody was like, well, you should make the action sequence bigger, and then you should make the girl's face in there. There was nobody really.
the boobies bigger.
Yeah, where's the boobs? There's not. If the kid's right there, where's there's room for the boobs? But anyway, so they just didn't tell him to change anything. So he loves this one because he just got to do what he wanted to do.
I mean, a lot of times he never watched the movie. They were just like, we just need this. And he's like, okay.
So you talk about how quickly he would make these. Like, realistically, did you ever hear how long it took him to put like something like this together?
It seemed like it was pretty
Actually,
quick.
we have a fun story on one of the posters.
Okay.
What's our next one? What do we got up next? This was done overnight.
Oh man, this is my favorite movie of all fucking time.
The
right
acrylic
here.
was still wet on it when they delivered it.
Still fucking. He
This
did
is
it
the
overnight.
best John Carpenter movie there is, and the best horror movie there is.
They called him and they're like, "Hey, we got this company that's gonna try to remake. You remember The Thing from Outer Space?" He's like, "Yeah, that '50s movie." He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, they're redoing that." He's like, "Cool. What do I show?" He's like, "I don't know." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I don't know who the actors are. I don't know anything about the monster, and I don't know where it takes place. It might be in Antarctica again." And he's like, "When do you need it?" He's like, "Tomorrow." And he's like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Well, he fucking nailed
So
it,
he
dude.
stayed up. Yeah.
I've tattooed this image before. It's so much fun, man.
He drank some Red Bull and just partied all night.
It's the 80s.
Nah, he was pretty calm. He was like I said, he was always mild mannered dude.
Well, I didn't
Probably
mean
just like-
actually party. I meant he drank some Red Bull and just painted.
Basically.
This is
Yeah.
way before Red Bull. This
So
movie came out the
coffee
year
with
I was
cocaine.
born. It's 38 years old.
Yeah. Some
So,
cocaine.
Literally,
Okay.
Yes. Cocaine.
literally, the studio was like, if you can have this done to the morning, because he lived like in the burbs of LA or whatever. So they're like, all right, you're 100 miles away. We'll send the fucking intern to pick it up in the morning. And he's like, all right, you know. So the kid's there at 8 a.m. on the fucking, like 10 a.m. on the fucking dot when they said he would be. And he's like, you got to be fucking careful with this because it's still
wet.
fucking wet. So it drove like 100 miles through the fucking California sun in the back of somebody's car. And when it still got to the printing press, they're like, dude, we can't photograph it because it's still fucking wet. And he's like, yeah, be careful. It might still be fucking wet. So they had to wait to even like press it under glass to take photos of it because it was still
Acrylics.
If we end up
Acrylic?
Acrylic was still wet
Yeah.
How?
because he was working on it that quickly from the person picking it up.
Dude, acrylic takes like 12 minutes to dry.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the airbrush effects.
there's
you know
like
what I mean?
retardants in there.
Oh,
You
okay.
can see how he
Okay.
masked
What do
some
you say?
areas off to get the splattery like snow effect.
Okay, yeah.
That was really interesting. Then like there's a good doc on him that would show him work once in a while. Every once in a while he would just splatter paint on a canvas
And then just
take
put
something
like
to like
plastic or
smush it.
something.
Is that the one you were watching in here the other day?
Yeah.
What was the name of it again? Do you remember?
Art of the poster.
Okay, cool. That's
see
on
that.
Amazon, right? So people
Fuck
could
Jeff
check that out.
Bezos. Sorry, no, Amazon, pick us up for a TV show. We can totally get syndicated on that shit.
We didn't
Jeff?
mean Jeff Bezos. We meant Jeff Koons.
Yeah, fuck Jeff Koons.
Yeah. Yeah. We got the wrong Jeff. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Jeff.
See, yeah,
Paytech.
this is one of those ones where they just gave him like the smallest brief possible on what he had to design, and he still made something super
Well, dude, this
fucking
is
sweet and
a
iconic out of it.
perfect fucking poster for this movie too, because it's got like the
Yeah,
dude
the
in
like the
Antarctic
who done
gear.
it, like
Yeah.
you're curious,
Like, you don't
like,
know. You don't
what's
know.
gonna happen?
It's
What's
so
gonna happen?
inconspicuous.
That's a huge
You're just-
element of this movie, which we'll probably end up talking about if Zach comes in again and we end up talking about
John
movies
Carpenter.
like
Yeah.
John Carpenter in general, like he wants to. Like,
So should I watch
This
that?
is a perfect fucking poster for that movie because you don't know
Even at the
who's
end.
what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So is this a movie I should watch?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that- is that what you're saying?
definitely watch this.
Absolutely.
I'm offended that you have not seen this yet.
Absolutely.
Kurt Russell, man.
Who?
Oh man.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. There's more Kurt Russell in this
Divorce.
episode.
Okay.
You better get your shit together, man.
Like pack my shit?
I love
or-
that this was just a one night fucking poster.
A one
though.
and done.
Like,
dude.
I didn't know the
It's
history
bananas.
of this piece.
It's fucking bananas that he just like And it's crazy to me the movie studio sent an intern to literally go pick it up. Like, nah, that shit ain't going through the mail. When I said I needed it tomorrow, I meant tomorrow.
Yeah.
But why would they also trust an intern, some dude who's probably never picked up a paycheck in his life, to be like, yeah, we're going to trust you with probably the most important
studio hand.
Yeah,
you know?
the most important object right now. And we're going to send you.
I need you to drop off my dry cleaning.
Yeah, drop off the
Go
dry
pick
cleaning.
this up and
Grab
grab me
a
a
dozen
coffee.
donuts.
Oh, you think the producers are going to do this shit? Fuck that. That's what they have interns for.
Yeah, grab a dozen donuts, 2 cups of coffee, and this painting.
Yeah, and that artwork we needed last week.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
For the most part,
Still my favorite movie of all time.
yeah,
I
it's
got to say.
fucking rad. For the most
Fine,
part,
I'll
he had a
watch
pretty reasonable career. Not too much gnarly shit happened because he's kind of a family man. But at one point, he had one of the kids of one of the art directors that he worked for. They stopped returning his artwork, and he called him out on it. And he was like, "Hey, you guys have never really returned any of my."
So he didn't want to get
pieces.
fucked like most.
Well,
illustrators
no,
did.
he actually called him out on it, and they said, "You know what, dude? If you're going to be a dick about this, you're never working for us again." And then, like,
Wasn't it
completely
like
fucking
his business partner?
yeah. There was one of the like art directors that gave him so much work. Fucking like
It was
you
him
know.
and his son that were like, we're going to go into business with you. And their business was just stealing his shit.
Yeah.
taking
And
advantage of him.
He only made like a quarter of the money because
Wolf
the money
Cola.
would go through them. So they'd be like, what
Wolf
are you
Cola.
talking about? We gave you like 50 grand.
It's like, we'll
for
give
this
you half of
poster."
half.
Poster.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Wolf Cola.
Yeah, totally wolf
Yeah.
collared him.
That's some shit we would do.
So
Well, that fucking sucks.
But the end
No,
of the
but
story is
we're not
great.
even that
forward,
scummy.
I'll talk during the next piece.
No, we're not even that scummy.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt, another John Carpenter.
Another
But
one of my
anyway, so
favorite fucking movies
That
of all time.
is Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Dude, I love Kenny.
He said he wasn't super hype on this painting because there was a lot of shit going on, but everybody loves this one
Dude, this is
because I
Fucking
think
so
it's fucking.
good.
I think it's there's so much shit
Did you
happening. It's
tattoo
awesome.
this on Nips?
I tattooed Kurt Russell or Jack Burton on Nips on his leg.
Nice.
That's what I thought.
But yeah, it wasn't this specific image.
Right, I knew it wasn't this, but it was
Yeah.
from this.
It definitely had the T-shirt or the fucking whatever it's called, the tank,
Tank
top
top,
there.
yeah.
And
Nice.
the Tech 9. Definitely, those were things
the
that had
Tech
to be in
9.
there.
And
He did a couple different versions
and the
of
mullet.
this, didn't he?
Yeah.
You can't
Well,
forget
of course.
the
There
mullet.
is
Of
a
course.
bunch, but this is the one that was studio approved. So back to the story. So he confronts this guy. The guy basically says he's not going to give him any work anymore. So he has to backtrack and kind of pull out old contacts and start working again. And then fast forward like 18 years later, Christie's auction house in the city suddenly has like 18 years later, suddenly has over 100 original Drew Struzans. So he fucking calls up. He's asking about it.
Unbeknownst to him.
Yeah, unbeknownst. He's like, "Hey, where did you just curious who dropped off my art because that's technically
100.
mine." So he found the guy, but when he started asking questions, he basically got sued by the guy for I don't know, just basically that fucking shitty business guy, dude.
Wait. So it's
the
like,
guys
hey, you have my stuff? Well, you can't say that. I'm going to sue you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he countersued.
Preemptive suit.
So then when
Okay.
he filed a countersuit against him, the guy had a heart attack and died.
He said it was the best thing that could have happened.
Karma's a
Yeah.
bitch, dude.
So,
So-
Christie's was just
So,
So
cheers.
cheers.
Cheers to that
Yeah.
one.
Cheers to the assholes that try to steal from artists.
Yeah.
Cheers to revenge.
Cheers to them
Karma.
dying of heart attacks suddenly.
So yeah, then the courts reviewed the case and like took all the artwork out off auction and returned it all directly to him. So good to that story.
Baller.
And
Well, that's good. That's a good ending to that
Yeah.
story.
he had over 100 original pieces returned into his possession 20 years after they were published, so they
So-
would be able to appreciate and value.
Yeah, I was about
Yeah,
to say that's
like,
probably.
Did he end up selling any of those? Do you know?
I think he has. I think he probably has.
So what would one of those pieces even be worth?
I'm not totally sure what an
a pretty
original might
fucking
have.
penny though. Like if I had absurd amounts of money, I would buy the original Thing poster
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
one too because
Dude.
they're two of my fucking favorite John Carpenter films ever.
John
So-
Carpenter did this one?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So in like the doc that they're talking about this, one of the other movie directors that was like bullshitting about it, and he was asking the film crew, he's like, "Hey, do you guys know if he's got that the original Big Trouble Little Chinatown over at his house? Does he got is he heavily armed? Yeah. So you think we might just be able to kick his ass and go steal that fucking Big Trouble Little Chinatown?"
Just strong arm.
Just
him.
cracking jokes, fucking, you know,
Right.
Because they want it.
Well,
so
dude, it's
bad.
so awesome. Again, like it perfectly captures this movie in poster form.
And the main shot of him, and like the girl,
Doesn't
Kim
exist.
Cattrall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were not actual scenes from the movies. That was when he had to pool reference together. To
Yeah,
kinda make
yeah.
his
I mean,
own
it
shit.
does kind of look like Jack Burton's head is put on someone else's.
It's
If you
his
flip
body.
it, if you flip it, you really kind of notice it. But
No, I'm
when
not
you're looking
kidding.
at it
That's-
and like,
Wait,
That's
it's his own.
Drew's body.
Yeah.
It's his own body.
Yeah.
He was that jacked.
He was that.
he was
jacked
in
back
pretty
the
decent
day.
shape. He actually had a, what would you say, a movie. What the fuck would term would be? A movie accurate costume of Indiana Jones too.
Nice.
Because he would never be able to sit with Harrison Ford because he was.
So he just got the
Harrison Ford's
costume
been
so he could
A-list
shoot his
since
own
like
reference for it.
1975, but he had. So yeah, he
That's
had a
pretty
little
cool.
fucking whip. He had the same fucking
Dude,
leather
I don't know
jacket
any artist that is actually like that works out
in
like
decent
that.
shape.
Yeah,
Oh, they're out
The
there.
80s.
and can paint an entire painting in one night without like a bunch of drugs and a sheet pizza.
Sweet.
Oh man, what a fucking great movie. Yeah, we got to talk about
See,
movies
so
now.
much shit in the 80s, dude. He fucking had his hand in like everything, dude.
Yeah.
I just love the texture and the jeans he gets.
I mean, the last two posters we looked at are probably in my top 5
Yeah.
movies of all time.
Well, Zach Pedley wants to come back and
Oh,
do
I'm
a
sure he does.
John Carpenter,
Yeah, that'd be a cool
Episode.
rundown.
and
That
he
would be
said
venturing into movie territory.
and he
That'd
said-
be interesting.
we can do it as soon as next week if need be.
All right, well, who knows
Cool.
when this will air?
Next week now
What do
or
we got
next week in the
next?
future? We'll see.
3 years later.
You can go for it. So speaking of movie reference, this is actually the point where he started being invited in, or like they gave him the opportunity to direct photo shoots. So he did the first movie poster, and then they liked it so much they brought him back for a second. But they also brought him in with all the actors so that, like I was saying, he could direct a photo shoot with all of them. So he could.
is this the one from the sequel or the first one?
This is 2.
Okay.
This was 2.
You
Yeah,
can
that's-
tell by the
that's
amount
the-
of people in the
and the-
poster.
Oh yeah, and, his,
And the
his
the
jacket.
tires flipping.
Yeah. The DeLorean.
I'm
is
just
hovering.
a little concerned about
Oh, you
how
can
close they are to each other. That's the only thing throwing me off. Like, they're
well,
little.
he does have a 70-year-old friend that's very troublesome.
Well, this is just like a take on the first movie poster,
Yeah.
right?
But it's
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
very troublesome relationship.
Well, it was just Marty
Yeah.
McFly looking at his watch, and that was the first Back to the Future
Yep,
poster.
yep.
yeah.
Then they had Doc for the second one.
Because they had 2 figures in to represent the second movie.
Right.
But I thought it was pretty interesting, though, that they would bring in the artist during, like, one of those photo shoots. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Right.
Because they would probably have the same guy from costume and one of the guys from makeup and one of the guys from lighting there on scene. So this is probably, like, a song and a dance just to, like, get some of these photos and shit, you know?
Man, they don't really do that anymore with movies. Like, it's all Photoshop
Nope.
stuff now, you
Nope.
know? Just
Not at
photo
all.
montage kind of things. It's not like actual paintings anymore, except on rare occasions for people who appreciate that.
Yeah, there's this really interesting paradox that happened is because it was like technology took over, so everything ended up just being like photoshopped floating heads. You know what I mean? Because you got to sell everybody on what actor's going to be in there,
Right.
so you got to have that big close up of fucking Tom Cruise and
Yeah.
Julia Roberts
And it's cheaper
laughing
to
over
just
a
pay
cup
some
of coffee.
graphic artist to just slam all those people together on a poster
Yeah, yeah.
instead of having someone illustrate it.
So there's this odd, like, people started to, like, the trickle down is that since everything from the mid 90s and 2000s started to be so photoshopped, that people started to associate these illustrated posters with old timey movies. You know what I mean? And like the what are we at? Zers? The Gen Zers aren't going to click on a movie that seems like it's fucking old. Like, what's that? I bet they don't have an iPhone in that movie.
Anything before 2011 just doesn't exist.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that kind of it's very strange.
Yeah, because like I feel like
illustrated
any
posters
really good movie needs an illustrated poster.
Should. For the cover, for the DVD box, for the poster itself.
I mean, even if it's not the main one that they use, like it needs something.
Something more dynamic.
Yeah.
Side note, I really want Marty's shoes. Those Nikes.
Yo, those are fly as
actually
fuck.
remade
I
them.
know.
And they were so expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure they're more expensive now with sneakerheads just buying that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there-
There was a
there was-
limited edition. They were
there's
self-lacing.
Two rounds.
Yeah.
2 rounds of it. The first round, they go for about $8,000 to $9,000
for a pair of fucking Nikes.
Second round, they were hitting $50,000 on the black market.
They self-lace. They're
They
pretty
self-lace.
cool.
And in the movie, they didn't. They didn't actually they couldn't figure out how to do that.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah. So in the actual movie itself, the reason they zoom in so close when it happens is because there's a dude on either side just pulling little fishing line.
Yeah.
To get
That sounds about right.
to get the
They
them
didn't
to tighten.
fucking like stop motion that shit.
You would think.
Yeah. No, but that's why they zoom in so close on it.
That's hilarious.
Great movies.
Great fucking poster too, man. Like great illustration.
It's weird that movies don't pay this much attention to like their marketing as much anymore. You know, like all the movies just end up as just like little itty bitty thumbnails on your fucking on your iPad, on your fucking Netflix app, and all that.
Well,
stuff.
I mean, that's why. It's because up until 10 years ago, there wasn't YouTube trailers.
Yeah.
You couldn't search any trailer at any moment.
The landscape has changed quite a bit since we were kids.
Yeah, I mean, in the 70s, you might not even see the trailer before going to see the movie. The only thing...
Yeah, you would see the trailers before other movies at the theater.
Right. So the only selling point of the movie was the actual poster itself.
Yeah, that's what a lot of throughout the
it-
doc that they did about them, they would talk about just how significant that was.
So
like
that-
all these aspiring directors going to the theater and seeing next month's posters and being like, oh, shit.
So that
Right.
that poster literally had to be the trailer
Yeah.
for the movie. It had to tell all the different aspects of what would take place.
Cool.
Yeah.
Where were we on the list? Bam.
Yeah.
The fucking trilogy, man. Holy
This
shit.
was for the special editions. These he also had to turn over fast because they were like, hey, he said he got a call on like fucking Christmas Eve.
Did you do them all on one giant canvas?
No. The crazy thing is that as soon as each one was finished, he had to send them off to the printer. So he had to make a triptych without being able to cross-reference to the thing that he just did.
That's pretty wild.
And he's like, again, he put his fucking foot in his mouth. He was like, oh. He's like, wait. They're like, hey, Drew, we're thinking about relaunching all the old Star Wars on VHS again. And he's like, cool. And they're like, hey, we want a new poster. He's like, wait, you want one poster to market 3 re-releases of these movies? And they're like, yeah. He's like, well, why don't you do a poster for each movie?
And it
Like-
lines up like a triptych.
Yeah, he's like, and I'll have them all interconnected. And they're like, cool. How do you imagine that? And he's like, I'm on the phone with you right now. What do you mean imagine that? He's like, hello? So, yeah, he kind of got wrapped up and biting off. Well, it wasn't more than he can chew because he fucking hit a home run.
Yeah, I mean,
except
again,
for Jabba the Hutt looking a little extra special up there in the corner.
well, I mean, he looks like that anyway in Return of the Jedi for sure. But like, these just completely capture the feel of each movie.
Oh,
Like, it's
completely.
fucking insane how accurate he is.
Yeah. That's what everybody that reviews these says. They're like, they got to sit in pop culture for like 20 years, and then when he got to revisit them, he really nailed down like what each movie sort of feels like and the theme is of them and shit.
I know earlier I asked about what parts were airbrushed. This one you can tell a lot more which ones are specific.
Yeah, there's a lot of airbrush work going on
Yeah.
in this for sure.
Yeah,
It's
he just
awesome,
builds that up, just slow layers of acrylic and airbrush.
I feel
building
like
up.
that's the strength of airbrush, though, is laying like a base layer and then refining things with an actual brush or pencil or
Yeah.
however you
Yeah,
want to do
it's-
it. I never had good luck with like just straight airbrush paintings. Like I've tried it and I just didn't feel like I had enough control to get the edges I needed.
I like the idea of using an airbrush, but I don't have much interest in doing exclusive airbrush paintings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the mask work and everything to do for like a hard edge and shit. It's like,
Yeah.
why don't I just
Yeah,
take
I
a
don't wanna
brush and
do that.
bam, there's a hard edge.
Yeah.
You know?
All of a sudden, I feel like I'm just spraying lacquer on something. It's way too thick. It's not smooth enough.
Just all the edges are too soft and stuff. Like you wouldn't be able to get that hard edge in here without masking or
Yeah. Probably started there.
yeah.
But since he nailed these down, they had him do the release of the second fucking wave. Boom. Now, the significant thing of episode 1 is they used that poster as the international poster.
Yeah.
They did not change or edit that for any of the releases anywhere else in the world. So it was just that poster with different language text on it.
Yeah, I remember that for when it came out because that was one of the movies that made me want to get into computer art. Is just the visual effects of that movie back
So-
in 1999.
What is the medium for these ones?
Again, acrylic, airbrush, and colored pencil.
Because these
Yeah.
ones seem even more advanced, like crazy advanced. Like
Well,
these,
you
as
see-
you mentioned about the computer graphics, it almost looks to that point.
Well, how long was this after the special edition of the first three? Probably at least 10 years, right?
oh, okay.
maybe.
They probably, wait.
Well, maybe not that long. Maybe like 5
The
years.
VHS wave was probably what, like 93?
Yeah, probably around there.
It was
and like
99
mid-90s.
probably.
Well, all these like I
it's
know
probably only like 4 or 5 years after they re-released them that they started doing the prequel trilogy. you
Yeah, I know the Phantom Menace was 1999, and then the rest of them came in
Early 2000.
within like 5 years after.
Yeah, it was like 99, 02, and then like 04 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like there's crazy more detail and depth to these that.
I mean, he's clearly referencing things from the movie too, so I'm assuming he got like screenshots to work from and stuff.
That was, they specifically wanted a lot of portrait stuff so that they could get the audience used to the idea that this is a new generation of Star Wars.
Right.
But
Like
it's the
these are the
same
new,
characters.
these are the new characters, but in the universe that you're
Used to.
that you know exists. And the same thing, it's a triptych that all like interlocks, and they have like the characters breaking the fucking frame,
And Jar Jar Binks.
and let's just go ahead and ignore that.
Didn't you say in one of the original movie posters he fucked up the lightsaber colors?
There was one, yes. Yeah, and I think he used the same pose. Do you want to go back one? Yeah, that pose. Yeah, he had one of the
Yeah, Luke has a green lightsaber, right? In Return of the
Should,
Jedi.
yeah.
I think it is.
but like he did actually one of the posters for that movie on launch, and they didn't really give him a lot to work from, so he just picked
He just
colors
was like
that
that.
looked cool. They're fighting with space swords, and he's like, okay, and just pick colors, and then everybody's like, hey, you got Luke Skywalker's lightsaber wrong. So, yeah.
Which, fucking 40 years later tends to be a very important detail.
Actually,
He's like, yeah, that's just
Actually,
another one of
guys,
those-
you got the lightsaber color wrong.
one of those Star Wars debates.
Nice
Fucking-
list.
But yeah, once again, just capturing the feel of each movie for sure.
It's composition, it's rendering, all that stuff. It's fucking tops.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. All right.
Although these are not my favorite Star Wars movies at all.
I don't think they're anybody's favorite Star Wars movies.
They're probably the worst.
Wait, you don't love Jar Jar Binks?
Dude, greatest character in probably Star Wars history.
Lisa thinks you never seen Star Wars before.
Dude, ask Zach. He'll agree with me. He agrees
Yeah,
with me.
he will just to fucking troll people.
Well, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, here we're getting into the more modern stuff here.
But here's the fun thing. Remember how we were talking about this sort of art was phased out? This is during the time period they started phasing it out.
Guillermo
Because,
yeah,
paid
poster
out of
art.
pocket.
Guillermo paid out of pocket to hire Drew to make these because
Well,
the studio.
Guillermo del Toro is a fucking amazing director,
And he has
as-
respect for.
He's a visionary as far as films go, so I could see why he would want to pay him out of
Yeah.
his own pocket to make something like this for a movie that he's making.
And because the producers were like, we're not giving you extra money. We already hired a Photoshop
Yeah.
jockey to fucking bevel edge some heads together. So
Yeah, that's a thing that's definitely lost nowadays on Hollywood, like we were just talking about.
I think they
Like-
might have used it for the DVD art though, like on the inside.
Yeah, but
Remember
still, any
correctly.
movie like this should have something like this, I think. It just makes it look so much more epic than
yeah,
a fucking Photoshop collage. you know?
yeah. He worked a lot actually with the Jim Henson Company because, you know, when you take a bunch of Muppets and just photograph them together,
Right.
they don't look like much. So he was hired by them like a fucking lot to just sort of redraw the photos that they did. But yeah, that whole bringing life into things.
Some weird flat.
just-
So
Sock
Guillermo
puppets.
hired him out of pocket because he was so confident that after the movie studio saw these posters, they would want to use them, but they still got shelved.
So they never got used.
Nah,
They sit in his house.
nah.
Sort of
Maybe for
Whose
like a
house?
special edition or like an insert art, but in
Guillermo's
terms of
house?
like official usage for the movie,
Right.
yeah, they kind of brushed it under. And he did one for 2 also. Click forward one.
They sit in Guillermo's house. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Probably.
He bought them. He paid for them.
Yeah, I mean,
And he
they're
did the
his.
same thing with the second movie. He was like, no, I'm going to hire Drew. He's going to fucking illustrate a poster. It's going to be sweet. And you guys are going to put your tail between your legs and be like, oh, Guillermo, you've got it all figured out. And then Drew pats him on the back. He's like, you haven't really figured out who calls the shots yet, do you?
He didn't learn.
Well,
We
He
should
did
do an
not.
episode on him.
Del
as well.
Toro's an artist, man. Like,
Yeah,
if we're
yeah.
going to be venturing into movie territory, that's definitely another guy that we got to talk about.
Yeah.
Did you do the Pan's Labyrinth one on these photos?
No.
Oh, it's so
I'm sure we
pretty.
could pull it up if you want.
So, yeah, that was 100% unused artwork. That is a fucking great poster. I want
Why
to
would-
see that movie, dude.
Why would you not use that?
Because
I mean, why would you not use this one either? This is fucking...
I mean, that one's beautiful. The next one, that is...
it's compelling. There's like
Yeah,
it's
there's something about
mid-action-
that one.
It's mid action sequence. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, is he powering up? Is he about to fight something? Is he gonna like
What's
pull
that
a
giant fucking weapon in his hand?
yeah.
Is he being
What's
alien
behind-
abducted?
I need more information.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that-
the last one is a beautifully done poster, but it's very just dynamic. It's all of them. This one is just him. It's action sequence.
Well, this
so
is
it's
another
a lot-
capturing the movie thing because, like, the end of this movie is kind of this scene here where
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
fighting these giant things.
The Golden Army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There was so many other elements in this movie that were beautiful, though, that could have made for awesome poster art. Like that.
I love the twins.
Well, that and the angel thing with the fucking no
Oh,
face and the
yes.
eyes on its wings. That was one of the
Oh,
coolest things.
death.
Chet Zar designed
Yeah.
that, as far as I know.
I believe so.
But like,
Chet Zar did a lot of work on both.
yeah,
both
he
these,
worked on
so-
both these movies heavily. Shout out to Chet Zar.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that would have made for an awesome poster to have that shit on
That's
there too.
probably the best rendition I've seen anyone do of death,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. This movie was not so well received because they ended up remaking Hellboy again with David Harbour.
it was pre MCU, so I don't think the
Yeah, but they also
movie market was quite lubed up enough to not just take in superheroes, but the indie.
right.
But they
superheroes
also
and shit.
remake really awesome movies as worse movies too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of.
Yeah.
I honestly think the
And-
story for the second one was better written than the first.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we up
Yeah,
to?
it
Like
was for
23
sure.
new Spider-Man since like 2009.
Dude, they're still fighting with Sony on that one.
Yeah. That's a whole nother thing. Like the rights between studios,
Yeah.
like completely holding back the art
yeah,
that's
yeah.
associated with those movies.
I kind of secretly hope they try to reboot of Spider-Man and they just try to make Tobey Maguire look like a teenager.
They do. I've seen
his
this
40s.
meme before somewhere, but do like Into the Spider-Verse, but with like all the Spider-Man movies, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like fucking the Tobey Maguire ones, and then the
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, the Andrew Garfield.
He
ones.
loves lasagna and hates Mondays.
Yeah. But dude, Into the Spider-Verse was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if they tried to actually do that, it might actually make for a cool movie. to just combine that whole universe together.
So fun fact, did you know that fucking like the marketing teams of this shit actually listen to like what the rental market has to say? You know what I mean? So like when they're designing and illustrating posters, they have to take into accord of like, well, what are the video stores going to want to hang
They
up?
call it Blockbuster, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Yo,
Hey,
When video stores were a thing.
yeah,
Hey,
which
Mr.
they're not,
Buster.
which is fucking is totally like
Evaporated.
you wasted all of those years placating to an audience that doesn't fucking exist
hey,
anymore.
hey, Mr. Buster, hey, Mr. King."
Hey, if the kids are going to want to watch a romantic comedy, they need to see a photoshopped head of a really pretty girl and then Hugh Grant laughing for no reason and then a cup of tea underneath it. And
You
then
don't
that
laugh
says
at
some
your
gay
cup of
shit
tea?
like live, laugh, love, you know?
Well, think about this. Like, in the times that we're living in right now, do you think movie theaters are going to go the way of Blockbuster?
You know,
I don't know.
I never would have thought that
Right.
until the past 6 months.
Yeah.
When they have been forcibly closed
Yeah,
by
like-
the fucking government.
I haven't been to a movie in almost fucking 8 or 9 months now.
Yeah.
For the past 10 years,
Yeah.
we've had 3 Marvel movies on the market.
Yeah.
It's fucking
I mean,
almost
and,
October.
uh,
they haven't given me a new Marvel movie yet this fucking year.
Drive-ins are making a comeback. Though.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So-
There is one not too far from here.
I
Yeah.
feel like as long as IMAX can make a comeback, regular movie theaters will be fine.
Speaking of that, we should go see a drive-in.
Well, it really depends on what's playing there.
It doesn't matter,
Yeah, it does. Because I don't want to go watch a fucking rom-com at a drive-in.
dude.
Who the
Dude,
fuck wants to do that?
dude, I would love to see You Got Mail on.
Sleepless in Seattle
From
with
the
a young
comfort of
Meg
your
Ryan
car?
and Tom Hanks.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful, guys.
Sounds fucking terrible to me.
Beautiful.
Another
Beautiful.
one where Ryan Reynolds tries not to be so awkward in front of Sandra Bullock.
Well, his wife doesn't remember him.
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, who knows? We're just spitballing.
I'm making jokes about The Notebook.
That's Ryan Gosling.
Oh, I
you
know.
got the wrong one.
No, I knew.
you
I knew.
You got the wrong Canadian boy.
Bam is
I knew.
clearly well-versed in movies. Having
Yeah.
not seen some of the best movies that have ever come out.
Yeah, like RoboCop,
Fucking Terminator 2.
That face is no. He has not watched RoboCop.
Conan the Barbarian, except for the fuck scenes that we watched at my house that one weird night.
Dude, we got so
There's
drunk
a
and
lot of
just
fuck
watched.
scenes in that first movie, man.
We literally-
Somehow Reggie timed it perfectly to switch back and forth from YouTube to hit everyone. I'm like, he's just gonna
Dude,
think
we
it's
wa-
softcore porn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that movie's just straight softcore porn. after
Yeah,
seeing
pretty
that.
much. A lot of that stuff back then was.
Yeah, but the second one is awesome because he forms a team and has to go fight a wizard that can transform into a dragon that tries to steal a princess.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But what about
And
Jason?
then,
Super Mario
and then the
Brothers, bro.
wizard, and then the wizard multiplies himself in the mirrors, and then he's gonna fight 10 different versions of the same evil wizard. It's awesome.
Sounds like some Joe Rogan doing DMT type shit.
No, it's
It's more like some Frank Frazetta stuff that
yeah.
came to life.
Nice.
That movie rules.
Does rule.
Fine.
You know what I watched the other
Watch
day
it.
was Red Sonja. That's a horribly bad fucking fantasy movie.
And they fucking stab
Brigitte
out
Nielsen's first movie, I believe.
Brigitte.
She did more than one movie?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wasn't she was she the villain in
No, she
Beverly
w-
Hills Cop 2?
Brigitte Nielsen, if no one
Beverly Hills
knows,
Cop 2.
is the female version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. They have the
Yes.
same haircut and everything.
Who ended up fucking Flava Flav.
She
Yes.
did.
On Flavor of Love.
Who was like
No,
a
but
foot
she's
taller
like-
than Flava Flav.
She fucked him.
Yeah, she
Probably.
Had to.
Yeah, clearly.
Hey, put on that Viking helmet again because you're going in sideways.
Sounds about right.
Well, that's a note. We should either wrap this up or find some more art to look at. So,
Oh, yeah.
was there
Oh,
The Pan's Labyrinth poster?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
there's Pan's Labyrinth.
Drew
So
has on and off retired a bunch of times. I think he did like the first Harry Potter movie poster, but none of the later ones because they leaned into the Photoshopped
Photoshop.
heads ones.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? If you're a designer and it sounds like I'm trying to shit on you for saying Photoshopped heads, I'm really not. But it just sucks that the movie market.
Well, a Photoshop
Got
poster
very
is definitely not as
uncreative.
cool as like something
Do you
that's
wanna hold up
hand
your
painted.
poster? Christina has a sweet print of his.
I
based
got
off
for
of
Christmas.
that band bought.
Being human.
Can you
That's
all
a
see
gorgeous
that?
poster that
Oh, yeah.
Guillermo again paid for and didn't get used.
Well, there's the being human one.
Just reflection of all of us.
Yep.
Yes.
You can kind of see it when you hold it back here.
All right.
The
If
sun
If you
is
want to look at it,
reflective.
you can see his strokes very well.
Well, look at this one because this is the Pan's Labyrinth poster.
Ooh. Yeah, you can see a lot of his technique. Oh, look at those washed out trees in the back. The texture of her clothes built up in like colored pencil and stuff. It's fucking sweet.
Yeah, this is fucking great. I
Some
was
of this-
hoping it would have the Pale Man on here, but
Oh, that
it's still pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And check out that fairy butt.
Dude, he knows how to
He
like
loves
just
the
control
booties.
those fucking splatters. He can just like squirt some paint on there.
Is it controlled though, or is he just fucking flinging shit at a canvas?
I mean, the
I think
It's a
splatters.
toothbrush,
Probably
probably.
toothbrush
Toothbrush,
method, you
yeah.
know?
oh yeah, I've
Or
seen
maybe like
that.
flicking his airbrush,
Well,
you know?
like
when you,
even like a
Yeah.
brush, like that one Donato DVD that I have. Like when
Yeah.
he does stuff like that, he'll like just put paint on a brush and then just like
Tap
pull
it.
the hairs back so it flicks it on the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking
Yep.
canvas.
Yeah.
It looks really good. That's how he painted stars on like a galaxy.
yeah,
background.
I've heard a lot of guys using that for like stars and shit.
I think.
And then
Drew
there-
06,
does
you can
too.
see
Th-
his...
then there's David Stupakis, who goes through and paints each individually with like a single hairbrush.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can combine those techniques and do both. Yeah, you can kind of see it in this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but then you
there's
don't know
some
where every single
sweet-
dot is going to land. If you have OCD, you want to know where every single dot's going to be.
Yeah, if you got deadlines, though, and you're trying to make that Hollywood
just
money...
Flick that brush.
just flick it a little.
Just
Yet
flick the
again, though,
brush.
another
Just flick a
poster
little.
that completely captures the feel of the movie.
Just flick it a
Like
little.
this guy knows what he's doing.
When we were
Yeah,
watching-
honestly, that really does sort of wrap up. Like, I probably would have different expectations of that film if you saw that poster. It's like, oh, this lonely orphan girl can only find solitude in her strange fantasy land.
That movie will break you. If anyone has not watched that movie, watch it and then sob quietly to yourself.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah,
It's pretty amazing. It is in Spanish, correct?
it is.
So it's subtitled, but it's definitely worth a watch.
It's worth it.
Even if you hate subtitles, you should still watch that movie because it's fucking great.
When watching the documentary, they were going through all of the posters he did like in the 80s. And Thomas Jane from The Mist, because he also did the Mist poster that they didn't use, said that his posters were so good it made him want to watch that movie, and he's still waiting to see that movie.
Well, in The Mist, isn't like Thomas Jane's character in the beginning? He's like a fantasy illustrator. Like,
Yeah,
he's
they actually
illustrating-
called
Drew's
Drew
stuff
on...
is in the
Yeah.
background because he's
Yeah.
supposed
He
to be
was
like Drew.
Basically supposed to be, yeah, a
Wholly
fictionalized
depressing movie, by the way, but fucking great movie.
Oh
Yeah.
God, who's one of the? There was some film critic that was like they interviewed too, and he was like making jokes, and he's like, you know, he did like an E.T., he did a Star Wars, he did like Goonies, he's got all these like fucking home runs. And then he did Police Academy. He did all of the Police Academies. And honestly, he loved doing those because he never got any shit from the art director. He's like, I just got to draw goofy caricatures,
Oh, yeah,
and everybody
it's
loved
great.
it, you know? Almost like with those early posters of Frank doing comedies. And he probably had no fucking schlag from who he had to answer
Yeah,
to, you
just
know?
want some goofy looking shit.
Did you get to see the part where Thomas Jane's just like, yeah, I talked to him about, I wanted to make it look legit.
Yeah.
So he was trying to teach him
Yeah.
how to hold the brush. And he's like, you start moving your hand before it touches. And he's just like, after we did the screening of the movie, I went up to Drew and I was like, hey. And he's just like, yeah, you fucked it up. You fucked it up. He's like, so I couldn't even be an accurate Drew for 2 minutes. He just came to me. He's like, the movie was great, but you fucked it up. But yeah, this is a one he did while retired.
Being human.
Retired.
Human, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
It's
he's
another
really
great
retired.
poster.
I don't think so either.
I mean, do you ever really retire when you're an artist? I mean,
He probably got sick of just juggling the market, and then more people were probably personally approaching him, like, "Hey, like Guillermo,
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah,
how do you
all
feel
these
about doing
indie-
this?"
yeah, you're still gonna end up painting some shit for some people.
Yeah.
like
Andy
that's just
started.
how
He
it is.
started.
All
gonna-
these indie projects
Like, dude,
started popping up.
I'm gonna fucking tattoo until I die. Like,
Yeah.
so.
but when you're
Like, if somebody comes to me when I'm fucking 90 years old, is like, hey man, I want a sick tattoo from you, I'll be like, I would love to do that.
right, but how awesome would it be for when some bitch walks in and is like, yo, I want this this like mandala with a nice
I'd be like,
dream catcher.
go
You
die.
can look at her and be like, I'm retired.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And then the next person walks in and is like, I want a monster. And you're like, I'm out of retirement.
I want a skull tat. All right, cool. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Retire like Kiss
I want the
does
Thing movie
every
poster on my
year.
back.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done it, but I'll do it again.
Do we got room for Big Trouble Little Chinatown at the bottom?
Oh.
Well, guys, I think that wraps it up for today.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
there's a few more guys that we can talk about if we want to reapproach this.
The movie posters.
Yeah.
Why not?
There was,
Well-
I forget what his first name was, but there's Ansel and there's, I want to say Greg Park, but I don't think the first name's right.
Okay.
Park did like that Apocalypse Now and like Star Trek 3.
Some like classic stuff.
You know how it was like that all black background, but
Yep.
like those like lighting effects and just like isolated portrait and stuff. That was all.
That'd be
like,
cool
Park.
to look at, even if we just like critique some old movie posters.
Yeah,
That'd be
you
awesome.
know, maybe do a quicker rundown on their bio and.
Oh, you know, like
zoom right through.
Barbarella or something.
Wait, Barbarella has a poster? Who did it?
Burn.
Yeah, we never looked at that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we got to do a Boris episode too.
Yeah, we do. Eventually.
I don't know who
that
that
should
is.
probably be a Boris and Julie Bell episode, though, because they're like
Yeah.
a tag team now, more or less. I mean, both their own thing, but both equally awesome. So, I think that does it for today.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
I got a piss.